If walking gives you back pain, your shoes might be the reason. The strange thing is that heels can make one person worse and another person better. I had one client whose back pain got worse when he wore dress shoes with raised heels, and another client whose sciatic pain got better when she wore raised heels. They had the same problem, back pain after walking more than 1 kilometre. But assessing them revealed that there were two completely different pain mechanisms driving their pain. So in this video, I'm going to show you why wearing shoes with raised heels can make your low back pain worse, why wearing shoes with raised heels can make your low back pain better, especially if you have a particular body type, and how to know which type of shoe is best for you. I'm going to start with Bjorn because his case is the most common. Bjorn had chronic low back pain. He was intolerant of lumbar flexion, so bending forwards provoked his pain, and lumbar extensions, arching backwards, also provoked his pain. He'd been doing great with his rehab program, would improve his spine hygiene so that he didn't trigger his pain throughout the day. We identified a pain-free position he could sleep in, and we improved his core muscle endurance. But he still had this annoying, nagging pain that would start when he had to walk a long distance through the airport whenever he travelled, and he travels a lot for work. I asked Bjorn what shoes he was wearing when he travelled. He showed me the shoes. They're a bit like these, dress shoes with a fairly significant raised heel of about 3 centimetres. Not huge, but enough to change his walking mechanics. A raised heel nudges your body towards a slightly more extension-based posture. You raise the heel, the posterior part of the pelvis is also raised, which puts the lumbar spine into extension. It's only a few centimetres, which is why he didn't feel his back immediately, but that tiny change becomes a problem when you multiply it by 1,000 plus steps. So the solution for Bjorn. He didn't need a back massage or some other passive treatment to make him feel better temporarily. He needed to eliminate what was provoking his pain, walking long distances in shoes with raised heels. As soon as he did, his pain went away. He now walks through the airport in flat trainers, then changes his shoes before meetings. No more flare-ups. But what worked for Bjorn doesn't work for everyone. Walking in flats can make some people's low back pain worse. This was the case with Angie, who had a history of disc bulge and sciatica. We'd previously got rid of her pain with basic spine hygiene, movement coaching and core endurance work. She was doing great, but when she came back from a holiday, she told me that whenever she walked more than about 1 kilometre, her sciatic symptoms kept coming back. She'd get pain in her hip when she walked and down the back of both legs when she lay down on her back. And she also said that her pain would get worse when she lay down on her side. I asked her to show me how exactly. And she positioned herself like this with her knee across her body. When she did this, her pain would get triggered immediately. I asked Angie what shoes she was wearing when walking caused her pain to flare up. And she said flats every time. And then she tells me, actually, wearing heels made my back pain feel better. In my mind, the pieces were coming together now, and Angie's morphology matters here. She's relatively short in stature and has a narrow waist and wider hips. So when she lays down on her side, crossing her leg across her body, the increased height of a wider pelvis increases the rotational stress at the base of her lumbar spine, where she already has a damaged disc. So why the pain when walking in flats? Because when you walk in flats, you can take longer strides. And taking longer strides also increases the rotation of the pelvis, causing the same stress at the L5-S1 level of her lumbar spine, where she has the disc bulge. Even though this rotation isn't as much as when she lays down on her side, the 1,000 plus repetitions when she's walking ends up irritating her disc, which in turn irritates her sciatic nerve. So this is an animation tool that will help you understand what I mean by this. I want to emphasise the difference in walking mechanics between the extreme male and the extreme female. So if you pay attention particularly to the pelvis and the amount of rotation, you can see how the spine and the pelvis are kind of rotating together. There's not that much movement there. Whereas if we go to the extreme female,
there's a lot more rotation of the pelvis, a lot more movement where the pelvis meets the lumbar spine, especially if we increase the stride length, which on this model we do by increasing the happiness variable. As you can see, longer stride, much more swaying and movement. Whereas if we compare that to the male, very different walking mechanics.
The solution for Angie was walking with a shorter stride length. She doesn't need to wear heels all the time. If she wears flats, she just needs to reduce her stride length to decrease the stress on her disc from the rotation of her pelvis. And then secondly, fix the side lying position. When she sleeps on her side, we found that when she supports her leg on some pillows to prevent her pelvis rotating, she doesn't have any pain. This combination of a shorter stride plus better side lying alignment has stopped Angie's flare-ups and put her back on the right track. So the key takeaway from this is that your shoes may be affecting your low back pain, but not everyone needs to ditch their heels. Some people may even do better in heels, but it's important to understand why and adapt accordingly. Now these are just 2 reasons why walking may increase your low back pain, but for some people these are just part of the puzzle. Sometimes there are other reasons why walking makes your back pain worse that have nothing to do with your shoes. One of those reasons is having overly tight hip flexors that often accompanies low back pain. This can change the mechanics of how you walk and make your pain worse. Watch my next video to find out why stretching your hips is not the first thing you should do.